So game 2 on Eternal Empire, and I'm hoping for a slightly spicier game than the last time. Hopefully some slightly more polished builds, some some slightly better execution. So previously, what we saw in the last game, are these guys doing a best of 5? I think they're doing, no, wait, hang on, what have I done? I think, no, there we go, best of 5. In the last game, Firesrest won by just simply he built an army and he walked across the map and he won. And Luke lost the game because what he hadn't done was build an army. And goodness knows he could have built an army. He had the money, but he chose not to. So I'm really hoping to just not see that happen again. That's all I want, really. Okay, Firesrest down with a very standard opening. We've got the barracks at the top of the ramp. We've got gas just coming down, and hopefully he's now. Look, there's no workers being built. What's going on here? What is this? No workers. Hopefully he's thinking about. Wait a minute. This game's in slow motion or something, isn't it? Have I slowed down the replay? Yeah, I think I must have accidentally put the replay on slow-mo. Okay, that's better. Where was I? Look, no workers being built again. So in the last game, I don't know, I wasn't that impressed by either player really in terms of just building stuff. So hopefully this time we're going to see something different. It's very standard looking opening from the Terran, but here we are with the barracks finished up, with the gas finished up. So at this point you should be thinking about getting a worker down to the natural to build that expand. Luke has got the money for an expand, and so I'd really like to see a worker heading down here to plant the Nexus, because that's how the game works, isn't it? Get money, turn it into an army. If you haven't got money, you cannot build the army. Weirdly though, it does look like it's Firesrest that's going to get the next going to get the CC done first. So gets the Reaper out onto the map. The Reaper is going to head across, have a little bit of a poke around, and see what it can see, and let's find out what it can see. I don't think there's anything interesting for it. There's three pylons in production. Why? Just why? Like what? I don't understand what I'm seeing here. How is this the quarterfinal and we've got people building 3 pylons? Sorry, Luke, but I'm going to be mean about this. That's just not cool, man. Not cool at all. It's a good surround. Does pick off the Reaper, but those 3 pylons. If you're supply blocked, build the 1 pylon and then use that other money. Use it to build a Nexus. Use it to build, I don't know, a side core, a gateway, some gas, some tech, a forge, who knows, anything that's helpful. But I'll tell you what's not helpful. This pylon isn't helpful. When are you going to need that pylon? You've got an overhead now of 20 supply, but you can only build things. You can only build workers 1 at a time because you've only got 1 Nexus, and you can only build zealots 1 at a time, or stalkers 1 at a time because you've only got the 1 gateway. No, not happy with that. Do like this worker. Sneaky little worker just waiting to come and pop back in a minute. Now with the positioning of the Marines, which is great. Look, this is going to do my head in. Look, where are the workers in production? Come on. With the position of the Marines, this worker is not going to be able to get back into the base. But do you know what? That's kind of okay. If you send a worker into your opponent's base and it gets shut down instantly by a whole bunch of Marines and you think, oh, I didn't get to see inside the base. No, you didn't. But what you did get to find out was that your opponent has got a bunch of Marines out the front. That's not nothing. You learned something. And if it gets shot by 4 Marines, you think, well, that's okay. You're always going to have a handful of Marines. If it gets shot by 15 Marines, you think to yourself, oh, crap, they've got loads of Marines who are about to storm their way across the map or whatever. If it gets shut down by a siege tank, that's important stuff to know. So, the suicide of a worker into a wall of units is not without its value as long as you're watching it and you get to see what kills it. Yeah, so gateway units just in production then in Protoss land. Previously earlier in the tournament, I saw Luke go for sort of big Stargate plays, big Skytoss plays, and I wouldn't mind that. That's not such a crazy thing to go for. And if you are going to go for that type of play as Protoss, the typical way you go about that is you get a pretty early forge so that you can invest into static defense. And the reason you do that, cannons cost minerals and are really good. So a cannon is a pretty tough thing. It can shoot air and it can shoot ground and it detects. And it doesn't cost you any gas. So it means you can save up your gas for that big Skytoss army later in the game. And you can defend your base against most harass. Cannons, shield batteries don't cost any gas. So with a skeleton crew, you can defend against all but an all-in. So if you are going to do that sort of build, the key to it is constant scouting and an early forge. But it looks like he's shown away from that type of build for the time being, and it looks like it's going to be a Twilight build. I don't mind that at all. I personally, at the minute, I'm playing an awful lot of Charge Lot Archon. Charge Lot Archon has always been a good thing in StarCraft. It's never really been a bad option. And I quite enjoy playing. I enjoy like Zealot run-bys and stuff. So, Zealot Archon can very quickly get you up to 5 and 6 bases as a Protoss, and you can just be doing run-bys, throwing the minerals into Zealots that you can use like lings and just pollute the map with them. Meanwhile, the combination of Templars and Archons are heavy hitters, and the Templars with the Storm, you can do very well against most builds with that type of composition. So I wouldn't mind saying that at all. And as I said, there is charge for the Zealots. So I really like that. One of the things that is crucial to that, because it's a totally gateway composition, is upgrades. Charge lots are really tough when they're 3-3. When they're not 3-3, they're not so tough. It is going to be a Twilight, however, and this could well get a lot done. Now, Firesrest, to his credit, has got a turret in each mineral line, and that's the absolutely correct way to play when you're playing against a Protoss. Protoss have an awful lot of options open to them, such as Oracles that can come in and do a lot of damage, and a turret just negates that. Dark Templars that can come in and do a lot of damage, and again, the turret essentially negates that. So, like what I'm seeing from Firesrest, in those terms, I mean, he hasn't really scouted yet, so he doesn't know that there are DTs coming, but he should find that he is safe against it. Obviously, from Luke's point of view, what he'd like to do, if the DTs get into his opponent's base, he sees the turret, the thing is to focus on that turret straight away. But against the Terran, there's always the possibility of scans, so what you'd really want is your DTs split up, 3 DTs in your opponent's base at different places so that they can't all be got with a single scan is perfect. But yeah, to focus on a turret, obviously you need them in the same place. So don't waste your time on the pylons. Get into the mineral line. These will look at them one-shotting workers. It's absolutely fantastic. That's why you send in a pair. The other thing that's useful about this is there's a pretty good chance they will get to see the Dark Shrine. So they cloak up and there is no detection here for Luke, and that is a bit painful. So what he needs to do really is he needs to drop a forge straight away, or a robo. He needs to do something about getting the detection. Now he isn't losing workers to this, but the workers are idle, so better to transfer these down here. If you've got literally no detection, well, start building a forge so that you can drop cannons. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is bear in mind, these aren't permanently cloaked. They will run out of energy eventually. So as long as you're building workers to make up for the ones you're losing, which Luke is not doing, and running the workers away, you just accept the losses. You just say, okay, I am going to lose some stuff, and that's going to be painful, but hey, eventually these will run out of energy and I will be able to kill them. As it happens, Luke is going for the big counter. Now, if we look at the army supply, it is Firesrest with the substantial advantage. These siege tanks in the high ground will annihilate these zealots. The splash damage from the siege tanks, however, will also annihilate a fair number of marines, but it's just not going to matter. They're all piled into this choke position. The stalkers are lit with the reinforcements, and they will simply walk to their death here. So A very, very, look, this is painful to watch, isn't it? A very, very solid hold from Firesrest, and meanwhile the Banshees in the main are just down. They've shut down the production and look simply taps out. So, quite a different game to the first one. I'm not sure it was better though. GG.